It's 4:30. Let's get this party started, like I like to say.
Yeah, let's
There
do
was a
it.
girl
Yeah.
group into the 2000s and had a song about get the party started. I can't think who it was. I should know because we had teenagers in. Anyway, we're calling the meeting to order. Welcome to have everybody here at the CAC meeting again in March. I can't believe we're almost at spring. We don't have any birthdays that I know of in March. If we do, somebody can correct me, let me know. If not, we'll just go ahead and move forward with the roll call. And when I call, sound off your name. I think I got some of you already that have come in. Let's start with Ray. Here. And Doris, is she on yet?
Doris?
Is she in the participants, Malia?
We see phone numbers.
Okay, read a couple of the phone numbers, the last 4 digits, please.
8107.
Who's 8107?
Louise Eden.
Okay, and then who's the other one?
5854. That's Manette, right?
That's right.
5854 is you, Manette?
That's right.
Any other phone numbers?
No.
Okay, all right, so, and BJ is not here. And so, Malia, if you will interrupt me when they do come on,
Yeah.
and then I will mark it also. And Louise is here.
Yes.
Craig is, okay, and Robin?
Here.
Okay, and Chris?
Here.
Judy's here. Dan Yangu is not here yet, I take it. Mike Kerr is, he wasn't sure if he was coming or not. John Norman is not here. Dick Phillips is not here. Okay, Irene is here.
Okay.
And Valerie is not here yet. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And David is here. And we're probably going to be having them come on in as we go. Okay, do we have, any other staff besides you, Malia, today?
Yeah, Derek Messling is here.
Derek, okay, great.
As well as Sarah Pell.
And Sarah, you're here.
I am.
Okay, good. You guys are too quiet. No.
That's just.
So Sarah, did you get your water bottle from the library?
Yes, I did. My coffee, I know, I saw the email, I was like, oh my goodness, it's like my lifeblood. My coffee.
Oh,
I did, yes.
Oh, good. I definitely wanted to check on that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, no problem. So, looking online, do we have any public comments today? Any other people you see? And it doesn't sound like we have anybody in here unless they're very quiet. Any public comments? Nope. Okay, and any introduction of guests? We always check that.
We don't have any.
Do not? Okay, we're just singing right through here. Approval of the minutes for February. Anyone who want to entertain a motion on the minutes?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented, February.
Second. Okay, and then Robin seconds. Okay. Any discussion at all? If none, it's been moved and seconded that the meeting minutes be approved as submitted. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Right. So that went by very quickly. So Malia, I think we've got, the next thing we have is you, and if you have any reporting to do, any announcements, or Sarah, Derek, if you have anything for us?
You betcha. I'll kick us off with January's fixed route ridership. Came in at 41,825, which is a subtle 2.47% increase from last year. And then paratransit ridership was reported at 7,011 rides, which is a 10.71 increase from last year. So I had shared, well, our team had shared that the intent was to publish the end of year report for fixed route ridership with financials closed out. However, the finance department needed a little bit more time on that. So we are going to release that report next month in line with National Transit Database reporting to the FTA. So anticipate that coming through from us. I apologize. It's very much so our hope, but there's a little bit of delay on some of the closeout numbers and
Oh,
cost allocations that needed to be updated.
life happens.
But overall, it's encouraging to see that ridership is increasing, still very much so a priority of this department and the agency to increase fixed route ridership. It's great to see the growth in paratransit, but realizing that, you know, some of that growth on paratransit may be because we need to do more on fixed route. So continuing to think about that. In line with that, as I've shared with the team, we have been working with a partner called Swiftly to provide stop data information by stops, boardings, deboardings, which is really crucial to informing our route decisions. They just completed that this last week, which is really exciting. And so the FTA is reviewing that to ensure that they feel good about those figures and approving like the methodology that we use for NTD reporting. When I have that dashboard, you know, with a couple months of data, I would love to show it to you guys just so we can kind of see where our hotspots are, the stops that are most utilized versus some of the stops that are potentially underutilized. And then we'll begin making decisions on routes after we've had some months to review that data. Feel very strongly that we shouldn't make decisions on routes until we have that data to look at. I think my team shared this last month, but I've begun work on the transit development plan for 2026. As you guys know, that's a 6-year plan being updated every year with our priorities and our financials. Every department is involved in that process. I am looking forward to discussing some of our planned initiatives with you guys. That will come next month. Our team is still kind of internally working on our department priorities, and then we'll sit down as an agency and compare, you know, between the departments, what are our priorities as a whole. And then I'll bring that list to you guys for your, you know, review and feedback. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And then it is our hope that we open public comment on the plan May 15th through June 16th. We've built in some wiggle room there in case we need it, but I'm really hoping that we don't. That gives us some good time to take any feedback, make any edits that are necessary, address those concerns, and then take it to the board for their review and then hopefully approval. That's due to WashDOT by September 1st. So this year we got a much better start on it. So I'm feeling hopeful that that plan will be a really instrumental document for the agency going forward as we go after grant applications and make service changes. An update on Spare. As you guys know, we made the decision to start using Spare for our paratransit software. We're really excited about it. I think the functionality is going to be huge for both the agency and operations and also for our ridership. We have set the launch date of April 6th for that, and we are still on track to launch. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily launching to the public. We're just gonna, you know, have everything up and running and run it side by side with our current paratransit software, which is Tracky's Pass, for those of you who may know.
Yes.
But by this time next month, when we have our CAC meeting, we should have the app all launched and ready to go and can show it to you guys and get your feedback on questions or concerns that you may have. No one's going to be forced to use the app, but I think it will be great functionality for those who are interested in kind of booking and managing their rides on their own a bit more independently. Did you have a question?
Yeah, are you going to, you said you already have one?
The app or the
Or
software?
no, you were
Or
thinking of,
software?
oh,
Yeah, we already have some
So,
software. Yeah.
the new one, are you going to do like a, test run, make sure that
Yeah.
they will both work together?
Yep, totally. It's our hope, like I said, to launch on April 6th. We'll run it at least a month side by side. It will probably be closer to 3 months if I was to guess. It just kind of depends how everyone in the agency responds and if we can get everyone properly trained in time. We're hoping to start training dispatchers and schedulers next week, and then it will be operators, and then we'll have some time just to work out any kinks, but they've provided some test scripts to run through so we can test all the different scenarios and make sure that it's functioning the way that it should. But no, nothing will change overnight. We don't want to break a system that's working for folks by any stretch.
Is he new?
and it's called Spare?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
SPARE?
Yep.
Or- Yeah, okay. Oh, Doris is here.
Sorry.
It was.
Well, she was.
I
She,
also see that Joe Kunzler has just joined.
Oh, okay.
Is Spare available now?
Like for us to use.
Well, for the app itself, I mean,
The app isn't ready yet, but when you go to download it, it will be cool because it will be labeled Skagit Transit, paratransit, so it will be labeled spare. So we're excited about that white label functionality. for people to serve us.
So it's not on the shelf.
It's,
Oh,
yeah,
it's good, Joey.
it's that they tailor with our own graphics and needs and.
So it's your.
Our brand.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very expensive. And I'll let you guys know as soon as it's launched. Like I said, it's probably gonna be a while before we're like pushing that to the public. I would love for you all to look at it before.
Oh, yeah.
We'll probably take a good month to review it, just make sure there's no questions or concerns.
So, and I do have a question too, like for those of us that are on the portal now, are we gonna be contacted when this new software launches, or is it just gonna be a behind the scenes changeover?
It's gonna be a bit of both. The behind the scenes, it's gonna be, it has already been communicated, of course, with the team and they're beginning to receive training on it. The system itself, like the service itself is not changing at all. So we'll probably message it slowly as like an added benefit to riders for those who want to use it. I would certainly be excited if any of you who ride paratransit would be willing to use it.
Sure.
It's available. Wonderful. Thank you, Judy. And give us feedback on it if there's any issues. And then once we feel confident that it's set up the way we want it set up, then we'll definitely do some pretty big marketing pushes to encourage people to use the app and to explore the app. I think I shared this before. It will provide cool information like your vehicle's arriving in 2 minutes and this is the driver that you have today and the license plate of the vehicle.
Oh,
You
gosh.
can go
It's
into your
super
app
like-
and see like
Yeah.
all of your upcoming trips. If you said that you're paying with cash versus if you're paying with card and just cool stuff that we haven't really been able
Ooh, I
to
love
provide
it.
before. So yeah, I'm hopeful that people won't see it as like some change, but more of just the functionality that we have had.
Well, we got 3 victims, I mean volunteers right here. So
So you.
they'll test that for us.
Volunteer, of course, you saw that. And who else wanted to volunteer to do this? To,
Do the what?
To
to,
test the app.
yeah, test the app.
Oh, you don't use paratransit, do you? You use regular bus.
Okay. I didn't know if anybody else did. But, all right. Wow, sounds good.
It is out there. It's an option for anyone to use the paratransit. I will share more information as we have it available. So expect an update from me next month on that.
Sounds good.
And then the last thing I'll add, I'm sure Derek will want to chime in on this, but we sat down as a team to review the WCAG accessibility compliance deadline, which was, we understood it to be April 24th of this year. However, in reviewing the guidance as a special purpose district government, we actually don't have to have our website compliant until next year. But that said, it is a huge priority for us as an agency. And so we are actively working on selecting a vendor. We have some pretty good leads. We're very excited about some of our options and we'll begin that work of building a website. Are excited about the extra time to test it, and to put it in front of, the CAC and probably some other members of the public, right, for feedback. But the big push for us as an agency is the compliance across all digital platforms and what that means
Yes.
in terms of accessibility of documents and templates. So we are,
Right, yeah.
It's-
It'll be in the big PDF.
I was gonna say, it is a huge task. We're gonna hopefully bring in some professionals who can really help us set ourselves up for success with the system and templates, right? But we were talking, Derek and I, the other day about like what a huge help it would be if any of you are willing to give us feedback. And I don't mean to single you out, Judy and Chris, but I would just love.
For accessibility, I get it.
I was gonna say, I would love your guys' input on like what makes a website stellar for you guys and for your devices, and how can we incorporate some of that feedback?
Don't count me in.
She's the smart one. I do.
Oh, you are too. He'll think of things that I don't think about, so.
Perfect. Well, I might reach out to you two separately then and set up some time, just because it's more than we can fit into these meetings.
Oh, yeah.
But if anyone else is interested in joining those conversations, it would mean the world to us to have input for the people who will be using our site, right? To make it not just compliant, but as accessible as we can.
Yes. Usability.
So that's kind of my update. I know that Sarah has an update to share, and then Derek just didn't need to speak for you, but if you have.
No, yeah, I mean, we're partnering on it. And within this room, like the date is being pushed it's not being pushed back. It already was back. We just read it, understand it correctly, but that doesn't change that we are moving with momentum towards the earlier date anyways. It's just, it's a good thing for us if instead of racing probably too quickly towards a very, very near date, we can be a little bit more programmatic about it and pragmatic about it and bring in like Judy to work with us on like, what do we want out of the website rather than just launching something, like, let's be super thoughtful about it. And I know from my perspective, the hope is for it's across digital platforms. So for social, for the website's coming quicker than 2027. So these things can be in place well before that date. It's just legally compliant on that date, but we're moving towards that all happening at a much brisker rate. But this just gives us the opportunity to really
least you can
think
go
through
first.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a legally mandated thing, but we want to do these things anyways, and we need to at some point anyway, so we want to keep moving.
One thing I'd add to the Derek's comment on that is with something like the TDP, after that deadline, it must be accessible to in order to be compliant, which is great, but that means we'd have to go back and update those documents anyways. Might as well just do them right from day one, and then,
Yeah.
you know, we can fine tune as we learn more and as we understand the requirements better. But it's gonna be a kind of a mind shift, which is great. That's the way it should be, right? But to get everyone on the same page about the documents that we put out as individuals and as departments, get all on the same page, so.
And I know Judy has already volunteered to me in the past to help with this, but if anybody else can too, this isn't just it is a Judy and crew if anybody else wants to be involved in that as well. So any help we can have is always great for
I
that.
won't.
I don't think so.
You could.
Yeah, we'll see. We're nothing in place as of yet. So nothing needed now.
Really bad.
Yeah, I would say like, probably like early summer, we should be in a position to have like selected
Well, that's-
vendor and kind of be starting those initial discussions on flow and accessibility and stuff. So, check back in with us. I mean, we'll definitely push it all along and give updates as we can, so.
And then can I make a request, like as far as on our CAC page, it'd be great for the board too. But is it possible to add in a sharing calendar feature?
For sure. We're gonna scrub the entire site, like
Yeah,
everything about it is gonna be laid out. So over the last couple of months, Shani, you and I have talked about quite a few things that I think are some really good pieces of feedback for not just the CAC site, but you have given me a lot of feedback for that. So we will
okay,
definitely circle back on
that's
that.
great.
And then Sandra,
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask a question about the paratransit. Since Dave just said something about, I probably couldn't ride it because he rides a regular bus. What's the minimum requirements or other requirements for paratransit?
paratransit, there is like a whole eligibility form. I would be happy to email it to you, or I can print you a copy of it. It really is determined by like a provider's assessment of like what the need is. Blanket response is that it's someone who, due to physical or cognitive mobility concerns, like is unable to use the fixed
Okay.
route. And so there are special conditions, right? Some folks need a bit more assistance during certain times of the year or when dealing with certain medical conditions, but for the most part, the service is protected for those who really are relying on the system, unable to use a fixed route service.
They have plans and eligibility too, that you can qualify under. And it's been a long time since I've dealt with those. So for instance, like with Chris and I being blind, we can still take fixed route, but we are able to get to paratransit because we can't get to all the stops.
Yeah, and my brother's in a wheelchair.
Well, we can take fixed route, but we can't get, what makes us eligible for para is that we can't get to all the stops. That's what I was saying.
Okay, yeah, and like my brother's in a wheelchair. Dave does have vision problems, but he's able to get on all of the buses, so he does. But that's just when you mentioned that, I just
I
wondered.
would encourage you to just start the conversation, when, you know, it does take some time to get set up.
Yeah.
And so even just to understand, we have our eligibility specialist, Joe, she's wonderful. It's also something Sarah in the travel training position can assist with, is helping understand, like, when I'm ready for this.
Yeah, okay.
Probably start planning up 3 months, 6 months in advance, just to make sure you get all your paperwork teed up and stuff. And then from there, I think our team does a really good job. Joe does a really good job of trying to eliminate barriers to not make it complicated, but there is some grunt work.
Yeah, I mean, my brother, he had it all set up. We were just coming, every few days when he was in the hotel, but he had that set up. It was quick and easy. He was in a wheelchair, but I mean, they went through that just pretty quick for him, so.
Being in wheelchair doesn't
No,
automatically.
it does.
No,
No, it doesn't. And to Judy's point, I said we've also find if you can reach certain stops, that is, the hope is that, from school to home, he lives in an area with accessible pathways, so it is safe for him to do that. The majority of the county in which he lives in, that is not the case, and so that is kind of the concern is like, there are points of interest that he needs to access that he can't safely do because of limitations with the infrastructure, and that's when he would use paratransit, so.
Sure.
We definitely want to hear that and consider that, we look at that if there is conditional, but speak for the agency when I say we certainly are protective of the service to make sure it's.
Well, I assumed
Are reliant.
not everybody could just hop on because that one is more directed to needs.
But reach out, I'm also happy to help, like if he lives in an area where there aren't sidewalks and he would be like in a path of travel and where you get to a bus stop, 100% qualifies, but
Oh, yeah.
just.
Well, no, I mean, he's in a home now, but it's just when Dave said about the, doing that for the app and he said, oh, I don't think I can write it. And I thought, well, you might be able to, but I don't know.
yeah, they
But he
usually
doesn't need-
want it like a doctor's report, showing,
Yeah.
to them, just to show that there is a need there. You can get that when you turn in that in the application is long, but it's easy to fill out. I mean, you know what your needs are. And unless this is changed, once the application is in, they give it like a 21-day turnaround. Yeah.
But feel free to email me, happy to help.
It's the same.
Thank you.
Statewide.
Yeah, it's actually federal. It's the federal guidance. The certain states have kind of made some tweaks to it, but for the most part, every transit agency in the nation follows like a very similar subset of the eligibility requirements.
Did someone online have a question?
Doris has a question.
Thank you.
I didn't really have a question. I just put on my mic and so hello, everybody.
All right.
Hi there.
Okay.
All right, sorry, with respect to time, I'm just gonna jump to Sarah really quick. She has an update on.
Yeah, so I've attended 2 events earlier in the month. And they were both at schools. So one was the Parent Academy Resource Fair, it was awesome. It was at the Mount Vernon High School and it served migrant families with kids who were just stepping into the Mount Vernon School District. And yeah, Rogelio and I served about 20 to 25 families and we signed up 3 youth passes. The crowd was a little bit younger, so there weren't a lot of youth passes to go out, but and we met with 4 new agencies we haven't partnered with before to set up travel training for summer camps, and we're really excited. And then on the 4th, I did an 8th grade transition night at the Cedar Woolley High School, where I met over 200 families and set up about 27 youth passes.
Whoa.
So we're gonna have a busy summer. Our buses are hopefully gonna be full of young people kind of exploring their community. That's the goal, safely and confidently. I'll be meeting with a few of them to just make sure that they're feeling confident and getting out there and,
More ridership, yeah.
more ridership, exactly. And in February, I was able to assist 9 new riders, successfully kind of learn a new skill that they were looking at and feeling more confident getting onto to buses and paratransit. So I'm confident that the travel training is going swimmingly. We do have the veterans stand down coming up in April. And so they've made a request out to the board for free ridership for them so that they can access some resources, and it's for veterans who are experiencing houselessness and just making sure that they have some options and access to those. So,
And did you want to talk about the walk roll event?
yeah, I do.
It was a lot of fun on that
Yes,
event.
that was a great event. Derek and myself attended. And it opened up my eyes. It gave me a new perspective on how people are navigating our community and to the bus stops, and just kind of, where we as a transit agency can kind of follow and step in.
What was that called?
The Walk Roll event is put on by the Non-Drivers Alliance. And
If I could add just a few things. One, I want to just shout out to Derek and Sarah. They both have jumped in. They've only been here for 3 months as of this week. And I mean, in both of their updates, right? They're taking on huge projects, making a big impact on the agency. So thank you guys. Thank you for being here. It's nice to have more members of the staff here for these meetings. I know we all appreciate that. And then I guess to the walk roll event specifically, it's been really neat in the process planning for the TDP to reach out to all the different municipalities and say like, hey, like, what are you seeing? Like, what are your priorities? What concerns have been reported to you about accessibility throughout your communities? And how can we partner? I want to specifically give a shout out to the city of Burlington and the county actually have done a phenomenal job of reaching out and saying, where are you guys like needing us to improve accessibility? And it has been really neat to see. The city of Burlington has required new developers to install bus pads for us and facilities. And as we strengthen relationships with others throughout the county, I'm confident that they will follow suit, which is just really encouraging. So we have a new stop going in East McCorkadale over by Community in Action. That won't open for a few years, but they're putting in a really wonderful, robust ADA accessible shelter there next to a lighted crosswalk. And then the Waldick Center just opened a new facility in Connor, out near Reservation Road, and they put in a really beautiful stop for our ridership there. And so I just wanted to give you guys like the update there. It's good news. It's really encouraging to see as these agencies have begun to reach out and say, listen, like as we're investing this money into our communities, how can we consider transit? And so you guys play an important role in that. If you yourselves experience concerns or hear projects and you want to just make sure that they're on my radar, I would appreciate that. You can always email me directly. But it feels like things are starting to change a little bit in that regard, and it's really exciting.
So Derek, did you want to talk about what did you think about the walk audit software? Because that's something that also would be available to agencies if they needed to use it as well or contribute to it.
Thought it was interesting. We, with the agency, couldn't actually download it just due to our devices. But I looked on other people's when we were walking around. It was contributing things that we were noticing that we were all noticing, obviously, when we were walking in places that were didn't have sidewalks. Yeah, we didn't get clear next steps from the group that we talked to. I know WashDOT, or it was no, it wasn't WashDOT, but somebody asked about potential next steps. It seems like an interesting project for sure to map out something that they just don't have data on, which it's hard to make strong decisions without the data behind it. So I get why they're doing what they're doing, but yeah, it seemed like a cool program from what they showed us.
What were the next steps? Like, do you know what's to follow?
Was somewhat unclear it was clear for opening eyes to the people in the room, which it did a great job of. For what they are, from my understanding, Judy, please hop in after I'm done with because I know you are the expert here. But they're gathering information on targeted areas to understand where sidewalk data essentially, because there's not a database essentially of standardized information or data. And so this is the UW's research department with the accessibility school, or I think it's called. And so they're working to compile those in certain areas, certain neighborhoods. And so that would tell you to kind of go to a certain area to check it out. And then you would report on various drop downs on what you saw there that could potentially be issues or things that were good.
It's kind of like pulling up, like when you had if you had a Google map, it's like pulling up walking directions and it says go north on whatever. And then at certain points, you follow these directions and then there comes a little drop down where you share. And the drop down has different questions that asks you and you fill those in. Then you proceed with your directions and stop at another place. And there's another drop down on the app. And there is also a website you can use if you can't use the app. It was their accessibility map, but it's the Taskar Center part, which is part of UW, that has gotten funding for this project, and they've been working on it. They actually started it a couple of years ago, and bit by bit, statewide, they are adding to it, and it's going to be software that's available to transit agencies or city planners, community planners, anyone. They're not working on trails yet, and we suggested that. Commissioner Browning was really wanting to try to add the trails in on that. Some of the ones that they're trying to work on through the Scott,
Stop.
yeah, I was trying to say it right. Thank you. Right, and he wasn't able to attend that, but yeah, so I think some of the next steps is they're still in the gathering process, and they're hoping to maybe have some kind of a seminar or pulling in more information in the fall. I think that's so they're in the gathering process right now. Okay,
Well, thank you. I think that if there's any questions, that proceeds or that wraps up our update.
okay,
Skagit County,
well,
they're doing it or?
no, they're doing it statewide. Skagit County was just Mayor Johnson was interested in it in Cedar Woolley, so they had one in Cedar Woolley. And Carolyn Moulton was interested in one in Anacortes, so I'm not sure if they're gonna do one over there, but she came to ours in Cedar Woolley too, so that was really good. There was about 20 people there. But, yeah, but they're gonna be holding events throughout the state, and they're interested in doing more in Skagit County. And Doris, did you have a question?
No, thank you.
Just told me you had a question
This is
or
Manette.
a comment
I
or
have
something? Oh,
This
no,
is
Manette, did you?
If they have this seminar thing, will any of us be invited to that, or is that just another level?
You mean for the,
For
With
their
the-
outcomes, their data in the fall?
with the walk and roll?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah, absolutely. And, I'm not sure what form that's gonna look like. They'll know more about it in the fall. But yeah, we need to save. So Manette, what did you think about that event? Did you get a lot out of it?
Well, I like the idea that they're trying to map out areas of the city that have potentials for bus stops, and because we need to increase our service, its frequency and where it goes. And I think that checking out the streets and the sidewalks and where it's possible to put them is part of that process and should be part of that process. And I appreciated the fact that somebody cared enough to do a study like that. And I hope that they're going to continue to do this kind of work.
It's an ongoing.
I think it's important to note, and I'm not sure if this group has had this information, but with new requirements from the state, for bus stops, any work that's done to a bus stop must ensure that it meets ADA compliance, which is wonderful. The concern is, historically, and this is not to throw anyone under the bus for like, but Skagit Transit has not ensured that we're putting bus stops in accessible locations, which needs to be addressed. The problem is if we move those stops, right, it now requires a full NEPA and SEPA, it requires a 5x8 pad, it requires boarding in the lighting area, which is great for our riders, but it's very expensive and it's very time consuming. And so I just want to be honest with the group that it's not that isn't a priority. It is a concern though, if we start to move or relocate stops, we no longer can technically utilize them if they don't comply. And so it's a bit of this process of determining with the route data, right? Or the stop data, what are our most utilized ones so we can begin to prioritize that work. But just in the engineering for a bus stop, the average rate we're using is like 25,000 for that sidewalk work and for if there's a stormwater requirement. So just for this group to know, it is so crucial that we invest in that work, but it is going to take time. And truthfully, the agency just can't support that degree of change right now. Like we have got to, and we are writing grants, right? And trying to get funding because we can't sustain that in-house at this rate.
Well, this is also for like city planning and things like when they're wanting to do something, widen the street or do something, how is it going to affect and what it's going to do. So the one, I'm kind of laughing when you're talking about that bus stop because Derek, do you remember the bus stop on Ferry Street? So.
Yeah.
The one that went, is that the one that went uphill?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it was the one that was kind of separated by the,
yeah, it had a curve also.
yeah,
We walked past that one. We walked past good examples. We walked past that one also, which admittedly is not the easiest to use. So yeah, I passed that information along to Leah.
Yeah.
We're very aware.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many stops
Yeah.
within our network that are quite awful. It's just making decisions based on
Yeah.
like the greatest need, right? And I think we can only do that when we look at the data of who's
Sure.
utilizing them. And then that's where the partnerships with the county and cities are so important to me, because if we can get them to, to take on some of that cost, right? Or to think of us when they make those improvements, it really allows like a win-win for all, in my opinion.
And this data mapping too would also be available to you as well. And I could always send you links or get you in touch with Anna, this kind of thing. But yeah, it's for the community. It's for, just being developed by UW and the Taskar Center.
Once they have, because it felt very in progress while we were there, which makes sense. We were the people there progressing with them and working on it.
Yeah,
Once they're in a place that they have something more formalized, I'd be curious to see it. It's great they're doing the work, but obviously to be able to utilize it, it needs to be somewhat more complete. So,
oh, sure.
but yeah, it's a cool project.
It's an ongoing thing. Yeah. Oh, great.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned about the partnership. I was gonna say, can't we invite some of the cities to enjoy a little bit of the cost? It's gonna benefit them too, but
Yeah, I was about to head.
so I mean, I know
On it.
grants and money and everything,
To
but
build relationships with them. I was
Yeah.
talking to, Frank Reiner is like head engineer for City of Mount Vernon today, and he was like, hey, as soon as you have that stop data for a couple months, send it along and like, we'll prioritize,
yeah,
your
I mean, it'll
stops.
benefit them and the,
sure.
you know,
Yeah, and I
everybody.
think that's just the part of like slowing down and knowing what we're asking for. Like, I don't want to say that we need the bells and whistles if we don't need the bells and whistles. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of money and it takes time. So it's kind of building the rapport with them. And I think data is the best way to do that first and foremost.
Do you have someone dedicated just to writing grants and asking for money? I mean, there's a lot of stuff, yeah, because there's,
We have,
it'd be
like,
full time.
in my opinion, the best grant writers ever. She's amazing.
That's
But
fuzzy.
we've got to be able to tell her what our priorities are so she knows how to make a case for them. So
That's cool.
now we have that dashboard built. So I'm hopeful.
Well, as long as you know the data is there, that's the thing, it's a resource and, that's good.
Sorry, Judy, we're done.
Yeah.
On to you.
Oh,
We took way too much time.
no, you did. You have, we are in our 507 block. Did you have anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
Oh, did you have a question?
Well, kind of. Remember, we were looking at the schedules and stuff. Did you ever, are you still working on them or did you come up with the one you were going to use?
So, thank you. We are still working on them. Forgive me, I don't know how to share this. It's not really my world, but we failed to meet an agreement with operators in union negotiations. Like I said, I really don't know too much about this, so I can't really take questions on it. I could try to follow up on them. But what that means is that we're unable to make any impacts to the network until we are able to negotiate with them. And so we're in a bit of a position where we're operating with what we have. Routes will remain the same for this next bid cycle. The bid opens in May. And so no big changes to the network, which is, disappointing. And that's where we've been kind of focusing our time and energy right now on understanding other priorities, the website, the software, right? I am hopeful that we'll have a new rider guide layout in like September timeframe.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're
I
working
was just
towards.
curious if you,
Yeah, I just wanted you to know that like, we will have a rider guide that will go out with May changes, but there won't be any route changes with it. And as for the design, I think now that we have Derek on board, he's gonna kind of assist in that work. We'll probably bring in a graphic designer to help us and make sure that it's compliant
I
with
was just curious
accessibility.
if it's going to, oh,
You're safe for now.
Uh,
One big bite at a time.
the
yeah.
one showed that where you open up, it kind of pulls down or comes down.
Uh-huh.
It shows more the streets. I was kind of interested, but
You like that version
yeah,
better?
that one.
Yeah, we've really been struggling. This is probably a decision, conversation for later, but as we look at compliance and the ability for readers to read those maps, that's something I'd love to talk to you, Judy, and you, Chris, about. Like, I need to learn a lot about how to build accessible maps, since they're gonna be published online. And so
Sure. Oh, yeah.
there's a lot for me to learn there, really, Dave. I'm not totally sure what they're gonna look like, but we're working on it, and we hope to have the new guide at least strongly ready to go by September.
Oh, okay, so I won't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
And then you get off into the weeds with reader boards and things on buses
I
and the
know.
screen and all that stuff. And Robin's been bringing a lot of things up on that, and
The
I
reader
believe
boards,
Valerie has
where are
too.
they?
On the bus.
Oh,
Oh, the reader boards? How, well, there's been things where the reader boards were either the print was too small and they were changing too quickly to be able to read what was going on.
Do you know where that was submitted? Judy?
Oh, gosh, it was, I mean, these are conversations that have been ongoing and brought up from time to time.
Okay,
So.
not recent.
Yeah, well, I don't, so how do you get, what do you guys feel about those, the reader boards? And Robin also talked about information on the outside of the bus as far as what's going on with the bus. Am I talking about that correctly, Robin?
Well, what happened to me was that when the change was made, the 301 bus was added. I had been routinely riding to Cedar Woolley from Burlington,
Okay.
stopping for a few minutes there and waiting while, and the passengers came on and some would leave, Then the bus would turn around and go back, and it would then stop at the United General Hospital campus. And all of a sudden, when they added the 301 bus, the 300, which I expected to get off from at the United General, continued through Cedar Woolley and took an extra hour to get back to United. And I said, well, why don't we set up some kind of a sign on the interior of the bus saying this bus
Is going to Interline.
continues through
Yeah.
this other route
Yeah,
and then goes on.
yeah, that's very good feedback. It would be very, very confusing if you were new to the network and you thought that you were riding to the end and then all of a sudden you're on a different bus. So
Yeah.
that is certainly something we could talk about.
Yeah, I just took notes of that. And then also just for this group, for anybody involved in this group, this is these type of things, like we work all the time thinking like, how are people going to use the things that we do? And the best way to find out is from people who use it and find things that are difficult or great or things that work awesome that we should do elsewhere in the system. So anytime there's any feedback like that, this is a good
Sure.
forum we don't know unless we know. So it's
Yeah.
great to let us know those things.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll look into it.
what I can
Great.
say, feedback like this has been given in the past, and it's like, where does it go? Like what happens, I totally believe you guys, I mean, you're taking notes and you're doing things. There's a lot of follow through with you guys, which is really great, but it's just been something that every now and then just raises its head again and again, and so I'm encouraged what you guys are doing. And the thing about the reader boards, at one point, and now are you guys seeing this? One point there was a question on reader boards where the print was too small. Has that been solved? For those of you who take the fixed routes?
I've never seen it too small.
Okay, so that seems to have been fixed. Are
I
they?
don't know, it's too small for you.
Well, the in-vehicle displays. Is that
Yeah.
what you're referencing?
That's why I was calling them, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They measured.
The TV screen.
Oh, the provisions.
The screens on the buses. behind the driver, yeah. Yeah,
Judy, I'll just say as one follow-up, there's no promise that any of these things get done immediately or at all.
oh, I,
But I just want to let you know that I'm here now and these things, while they might not be immediate, they might be somewhere in my brain and in my notes, and that you never know when that'll be useful to be able to finish.
Sure.
So it is.
They're very easy. And
Yeah.
we're knocking them out. It's like, oh,
It's always.
get stuff done.
but as long as we know that there's follow-up.
For sure.
You know, that there's
Yeah.
up and what's going on.
We've been using Track too.
We understand that.
Now the team's been trained on that, so there's not one
Yeah.
issue.
This is
Okay.
Manette. Can I?
Annette?
Yes, can I hark back to, for a second, to schedules? Is it routine to bring schedules to the Cedar Woolley Library so that they have them to offer people if they want it? The last couple of times I've been there, I haven't seen schedules.
At the library,
Yes, at Cedar Woolley Library.
Cedar Woolley Library?
I
Yeah.
will put it on, I will discuss it with Rogelio. I will say though, just in full transparency, I've been struggling with that a little bit. We go through about 1,000 rider guides a month, which is a lot. They're very expensive. The last time we purchased 3,000 of them, or 5,000 of them, excuse me, we spent over $10,000. We as a team have been discussing making the rider guide more simple and less expensive to print. And so that's what I mean with the September timeline. We're looking at a total revamp to make those more cost efficient. But I will ask him to drop some off, but there has been a concern with like, when it's our product, we can kind of control, right? And encourage people to hold on to it. When we disseminate them, I think it's easy for people just to give them out. Or, you know, you use it once and then you throw them away.
And then, Chris has a comment?
To your point, Malia, I was just thinking, I used to work at a technical college, so my thought is there a way that you could get Skagit Valley or anybody to get their graphics people to produce your stuff or work with them in partnership or something?
They could use it as a project.
Yeah,
We could, yeah,
I mean, that's for y'all
Wow.
to know, but
Yeah.
it's just a thought.
we're looking at, for Malia's point that she made, the expense is on the printing. It's not on the design necessarily. And so if something is
But
that large,
that's something they could probably do. If they, yeah,
Yeah, we could
just
look
use
at
it like,
No, that was,
yeah, we can.
that was one thought.
contact them, say, hey, we need some printing done, and do you have, you know, they've got students training and all kinds of things.
I will say we have to be somewhat careful on that. There are procurement policies, especially over a certain amount, but
Yeah,
we will look into it. That's a great idea. We have, I think, a lot of people within our community that we could utilize, right? As long as we can, we're still new to the procurement side
No,
of
no.
things. Sure.
When we possibly try to work.
sure.
So his college used to do things like that for the, like, he worked for a VOTEC, no, a vocational, technical college, I'll say it right. And, they did things like this all the time for the community, for student, it was part of educating the students on how to do these things. They were almost like, not internships so much, but the projects that the students could learn with, and it was benefiting everybody, so.
I'll look into it though, Chris.
Yeah.
That's feedback. Thank you.
For sure.
It's a helpful recommendation for sure.
I had another different comment, which is, I really, well, I guess I'll stick with part of what I was thinking, which was, you know, talking about funding, and I can only imagine the funding that you need. But I'm also wondering if you could check or get connections with some people in civic clubs and stuff other than just cities and counties, that kind of stuff, because if you can give people a way to understand, this is what our goals are, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to improve transit. We're trying to do some things. These are some things that we're working on. These are some things we hope to do. If you all can maybe help us some, we can get that farther. Why am I saying that? Because if we can find a way to do those things, then when voting time comes around in the next few times, you can justifiably go to the public and say, these are things we're doing. This is what we're wanting to do. We've got some data to prove it. And there's some organizations that are trying to help us do it.
Yeah.
And then the final thought I had, which is totally different from that, is I want to encourage those of us that are CAC members, as much as we can, let's do our best to see if we can't make, whether in person or online, try to make the board of directors meetings when you can. I think that's important. We hope that we can get some more board participation for people to come here to our meetings, but we also, if we can find a way to show our presence, that's going to help them understand the degree of involvement we're trying to make. I know everybody can't do that, and I don't do it either sometimes, but I think it's important for us to try to show that we're involved in the way that we can be, so they can see we're not just names on a paper.
Yeah, and to that point, Chris, we had a chance to meet with Commissioner Browning, and she set that meeting up, which was much appreciated. And he did make a comment about, you know, like the CAC, like it exists to help inform the agency, right? And there's power in the CAC collectively prioritizing goals, right? Or initiatives or suggestions. And so I think when we can come up with a list of things that everyone is in support of, that has a lot more weight, right? Than maybe an individual, right? That could be an individual experience, but when this group can come together and really support something and then clearly articulate that, it just, I think it accomplishes all.
And even have a vote saying that we as a committee recommend this. And then we're on board, we're on record as just being at one on a certain issue.
Absolutely. All right, Judy,
All right.
we are actually done. Now it's
Okay. Okay. Well, and this kind of goes into a little bit what I was going to talk about with you guys. It's been really interesting because I've had a chance, like Malia said, that I had actually met with her and with Commissioner Browning. And of course, I think one of the things that we wanted to do originally, which, I'd still love to do, but I think we have some groundwork, and that is we wanted to get the board to implement, take steps to implement and so on with the ridership, allowing ridership on boards. Well, I think, as much as I would like that, I think we have some legwork to do a little bit. And I think if we can do some, think of some collaborative ways in which we can work with the board and the board also work with us to help just get some partnerships, some collaboration going and work toward partnering and working together. One of the things that I would like to try to do, and Commissioner Browning had an idea similar to this, which was having different CAC members he was thinking public comment. I have another idea that I need to talk to them about, something that Intercity Transit's doing. But basically, us attending the board and making sure that board members attend our meetings and report what's going on with the board. And that's just sort of like a little bit of a beginning thing that I'd like to do. I've got to iron out some more details once I meet with I'm starting to meet now with Commissioner Browning once a month, and now, so Crystal actually called me on Friday, and in the process of conversation and just catching up with each other, she recommended also meeting once a month, and so we're going to be doing that as well. But we're talking about collaboration and what to do, and I've got some details I want to ask them first, and I'll bring them to you guys. But the whole idea is we may not be getting the ridership on PTA boards this way yet, but it's going to come at some point because it's just going statewide. But for now, for Skagit Transit, if we can build these collaborations, partnerships, and work at helping the Skagit Transit to court the community, Skagit Transit does a lot of wonderful things for the community. Not standing up, look at all the emergency flood that you help to transport people. And I just can't mention there's not enough time to mention all the great things that you do for the community. But it's important for us to remember that we want to do things with the community. And so that's the piece that we need to get hold of. And, because we need community buy-in. That's the end game. So this kind of is what I had to say, basically.
If I can, I
Yeah.
forgot to ask you for 2 minutes, but I just wanted to point out that March 28th at the Swinomish Yacht Club in McConnell, they're having the event that Louise Eaton put on. She's spearheaded the whole thing.
Yep, that was
BJ
it.
was involved. I volunteered to fall face first into it.
Oh.
There's like a memory roundup. It's Patricia Hunter, MSW. If you look her up, we talked about it last month. She's gonna be there. She's very interesting. It's 310 First Street in LaConner from 10 till 2. And CAC will have a table there. I think she,
Did you happen to reach out?
I reached,
Okay,
Louise, I don't know if you heard that, but Sarah, I think, reached out to you a few weeks ago regarding getting more information about the event. We would love to be involved if you would like. us
okay, I
to.
thought that
Yeah.
they were gonna be there, so maybe I misunderstood. But
10 to 1.
yeah, I mean, it's 10 to 2.
Oh, 10 to 2, okay.
Okay. Yeah, everybody who can go, March 28th.
Yeah.
Let's be there in support. I think that's awesome. And then I will, make sure I've got my information together and I'll send out an email.
Yeah, they're gonna focus, it's memory roundup and scams, and it sounds pretty interesting
Yes,
for what it is.
all right. All right. Is there any other issues at all that you'd like to bring up here?
Well, I have one, and I don't know whether this is pertinent to our position as members here, but I was on a paratransit the other night. It was rather late, and the driver was saying how he was going to be so glad to get home. He'd had a 10-hour day already, and he was complaining, actually, He actually did get, in fact, a request that he pick up another rider and continue his day beyond his 10 hours. And I thought, wow, I don't know that we're supposed to be here representing their
No,
feelings and needs or whatever. But
no, they work really hard. I know they work really hard in long hours.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, we can't address that, but, not as a committee.
but as an individual,
Yeah,
I would please reach out. Something we can look into, better understand the situation.
the drivers are the heroes as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. They
really
do.
are.
Oh, I know.
And I've never met one yet that it doesn't go really out of its way to be kind or no way, to be kind and helpful and do everything that's required for safety.
We're gonna get a lot of crosstalk here. It's gonna be hard on the people on the phone. So, all right, so, yeah, I'm sorry that we can't address that, but I think the drivers are awesome. They're wonderful. Doris, I wanted to let you know that Commissioner Browning did read your public comment at the last board meeting. And it was duly noted. It was official.
Doris, I called you because I wanted to chat with you some more about it. I'm not sure if you received my message, but I would love to hear some more from you if you're willing to chat with me about it.
Oh, yeah, call me anytime, day or night. Call
Okay,
me at 4:30 in the morning if I get up and I have to take the bus down to Seattle. I just put it in the chat. Because the southbound express lanes are closed because of construction on I-5, it takes 2.5 hours to drive to Seattle at certain times during the commute in the morning. And I just wish that we could figure out some way to get people from Mount Vernon to Linwood faster. I know I've never said that before.
You did, and it was recorded.
I know it's been recorded for 3 years, 5 years. Been saying the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and this is the one thing I was talking about, is like, this happens and it just, yeah.
well,
It's frustrating.
I did
Yeah, please
you,
call
but
me.
I will talk with you.
No,
We can chat.
Malia, I'd be happy to talk about it, and I have expressed numerous brainstorming ideas of ways to do it. So I'd be happy to go over everything that I've thought with you again. Sure, thanks.
Yeah.
I know I'm raving for 30 seconds, but really, I just have a commitment because no other commuters can use this service, and I happen to be a commuter who's on the CAC. So I'm just trying to speak up.
We can chat some more about it, but I think for the sake of the conversation, it is important that we are only legally allowed to operate within our public transportation benefit areas unless agreed upon otherwise. We have started conversations with community transit about them allowing us to extend our service to Smoky Point. It is very much so in the talks, but that is not something that we get to decide without formal approval, and there has to be like legal documents that cite that we are allowed to do that. So we are working on it, but please know that it's not necessarily like a lack of intention on our part. It's more of the fact that it's a much bigger process to operate officially in somebody else's public transportation benefit area. But we can chat some more about it, Chris.
And then for Joe Kunzler, if you're on,
He left.
he left, okay, so I will contact him because he was past our public comment.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any other issues or questions or blessings?
Thank you all.
Right? All right. Let's, anyone entertain a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Dave moves that we adjourn. Any seconds?
I'll second that.
Thank
Okay,
you.
it's been oh, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. We adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed?
Hey.
You can't